Hey guys, it's Joe of WagerTalk.com. Are you guys going to come over to WagerTalk on July 4th? Well, you really should. You're likely aware that we'll be offering every daily pick package for only $9 Friday to Monday. But did you also know on July 4th only, we will have a great special 7-day all access packages for just $76 for the week. That is less than $11 a day, you guys. So make sure on July 4th, you head over to wagertalk.com and get this deal. 1 week of picks for just $76.
Welcome, everybody. July 1st, a new month upon us. Teddy covers Lawrence Perezman. You're watching Wager Talk Today. And Teddy, Rob Veno, right off the top, we got a couple of NBA player props for everyone. Andy Lang joining us. He's got a pick on the Blue Jay Seattle game. Another couple of NBA props. And, of course, Carmine Bianco to talk soccer as we've got the round of 8 starting tomorrow. Teddy, how was your night last night, my friend?
Oh, pretty good. I won 2 out of 3. I'll take it any day of the week. No complaints. Yep. The NBA, good. I mean, the NBA's been real good. The baseball's been real good. So I got no complaints right now. Prez, how about yourself?
Well, killed it in the penalty box segment again, Teddy. 2 days in a row. Absolutely dominated. But I lost my 5% play in baseball last night. I won my NHL play, so I lost like 0.8 units or something, or a unit. Not a big deal, but man, it's important to win those 5% plays. And, you know, I made a mistake. I mean, I tossed and turned between the over and the J game and the Jays. And, you know, I went with the Jays because the Jays bullpen's been lights out the last few weeks, or the last 9 games prior. No, you know, one team had scored more than 5 runs. Seattle's batting average is so terrible, blah, 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 blah. I went with the Jays -1.5. And 700 left runners on base later, I lost that bet. Bounce back day today, Teddy.
At one point, I think they were finished 4 of 16 with runners in scoring position. They had a lot of chances. Didn't take advantage of them, unfortunately for you and your clients. That said, they still got 7 runs. You can't blame the offense. You know, it was the pitching didn't get the job done last night for Toronto.
It was a bad pick by me, and those are gonna happen. I mean, dude, we've had 5 stars that were like complete blowouts in the other direction. So that's betting. What did you learn last night in the wonderful world of sports betting?
Well, Prez, it's ironic that you talk about mistakes that you made last night, because I'm going to talk about maybe the dumbest bet I'll make in MLB all year last night, the Astros. If I'm lucky, it'll be the dumbest bet I make all year, because there's a decent chance I'll make a dumber one at some point, or 2 or 3. Always humbling, this business, always, even for the pros. Remember that when you're red hot. Remember that when you're ice cold. It's a humbling business, period. Sorry, I'm digressing. My point is not that I made a dumb bet. My point is that if you bet the Orioles in that series against the Astros, 3 little games, 3 1-unit bets, you just cashed a +320, a +260, and another +260. That's what, 8.5 units on 3 bets in 3 days. That's a nice week. You did it on 3 bets. These opportunities will present themselves regularly over the back half of the campaign. Red hot teams cool off. The Astros were as hot as a firecracker. They're not. They cool off, or they get tired, like the Astros playing 20 games in 20 days and whining about it, telling anyone who's paying attention that they shouldn't be $3 favorites, especially when their bottom feeder opponent is suddenly playing well and confident. But those teams are still priced like red hot teams, even though they're not red hot anymore. And even if you don't catch all 3 of a 3-game set when these teams get swept, you can still catch 1 or 2. At this stage of the campaign, you talked about it, July 1st, half the year's over, half the baseball season's over. I could care less what the season-long numbers say. I really do. I've thrown all season-long numbers out the window. You know what I'm interested in is Ralph's numbers from first pitch, last 12 games, you know. But at least 80% or 90% of those stats full year are going to be misleading in one way or another. And I debated between 80% or 90%. The full year stats are no good anymore. They're not going to help you win. I'm not saying they're no good. They're not going to help you win. The short-term stats are where we're going to find your stuff. And your short-term runs, like the Orioles taking 3 straight against the Astros, you're going to get these opportunities. It's all current form from here on out in MLB. And when you see these chances, even if you miss 1, even if you miss 2, markets aren't going to adjust off Baltimore winning a game or 2 in Houston. It's going to take weeks of the Orioles being hot or the Astros being cold for the markets to adjust appropriately. And that's why my bet on Houston last night, even on the run line, unconscionable. Not one of my better decisions, Prez. How about you? What did you learn?
Well, Teddy, rather than what I learned, let's ask some questions. Actionable info time. We got Houston today, minus 180 against Cleveland. My question to you is, what do you do now moving forward? You've got a Baltimore team that, as you say, is red hot. They've just won 3 in a row, and they even, add a win from the Blue Jays series. They've got games coming. Not today, but they're going to be in play. And Houston today, what do we do with these teams moving forward after we
fade the Astros and you bet the Orioles until proven otherwise? That's current form, right? I always think back. There's been a couple of September meltdowns from $3 favorite teams. The Red Sox, the one year where they were drinking and eating chicken in the dugout, and they went like 7-22 after September 1st, and were $2 favorites on average for the entire month. The Dodgers, that was it? I forget, it was 2 or 3 years ago in September. After they'd won, they lost 14 out of 15, $3 chalk every day. In general,
yeah.
The team that was good that isn't good is of the 2 bets. Would I rather ride Baltimore right now or fade Houston between now and the All-Star break? Probably be the latter. The quotes coming out of the Astros locker room are very concerning.
Yeah, and that leads me to my next question, and that is sort of, when do you know? You had the Blue Jays on a nice 3-game win streak. They've been playing great ball. They lost last night to Seattle, now a minus 200 against Kukachi. I've said his name all wrong. When do you know? Is it now time to bet Seattle? Or, I mean, I look at it and I say, well, the Blue Jays bats are still alive. They still put up 7. They got their best pitcher coming to the mound. When is it time? How did we spot that Houston debacle?
We didn't spot it. I lost with the Astros last night.
Yeah,
about what a good spot it was, which in theory it was. And the fact that if you watched, one of the things I do, I'm a watcher. Rob Veno's a watcher. He'll come on in just a minute and talk about. But you watch the at-bats. You watch the offensive approach. Okay. They're not taking the same type of at-bats now that they were 2 weeks ago. Not even close. When they can't hit Matt Harvey. I mean, they're getting shut down by Matt Harvey. That's an offense that and now it's a lineup that was clicking. That is, but you say exactly when. Nobody knows exactly when. Right? It's not like you can say, oh yeah, these are the criteria, and on this day you make the choice. All right, bang, you're going to go. It's when you see something, and when you see something, you try to take advantage of it. It's not like, okay, today's the day that I'm going to do it, or tomorrow, or you just try to do the best job you have with the information that you have. And right now, again, and the quotes, I talk about watching. The quotes are another thing about when you learn something. That's why we read all the local papers. That's why we read all the beat writers, because if everyone, not every article that you read, you find something of value. But some articles you read, you find a quote or two that really stand out. And the quotes coming out of the Astros right now is, we're playing 20 games in 20 days. We're completely gassed. We have nothing in the tank. They shouldn't be $3 favorites. They shouldn't have been $3 favorites last night, obviously. So, but exactly when, that's always up for debate.
Incredible athletes. Can't play 21 games in 21 days without being gassed, standing around waiting for a ball to land in their glove. Anyway, Robert Veno joining us. Rob, #1 handicapper in the NBA 2 years in a row, and both years combined. Congratulations. Welcome to the show, my brother.
Good afternoon, Prez. You make me laugh with that last statement. That was a pretty good one. 21 games, 21 days, standing around waiting for a ball to drop. They're gassed. It's not a game of constant motion. You're absolutely right. But there's air travel and whatnot, I guess. gets to these guys.
That's
But,
sitting on those sitting on those chairs in
right?
their private planes. That must be exhausting. Oh, and to think the Tour de France goes longer than that. Anyway, Rob, you have anything to add to this conversation Teddy and I have just been having?
Well, you know what? I got lucky last night in that same exact game. I had the first 5 inning total over 5 runs. Houston, Baltimore. Baltimore gets me 4 in the first. I think I'm well on my way because Matt Harvey's the pitcher on the other side. And, it took some, some doing to get the 2 out of the Astros in the 5th to get that thing over the total. But it got there. So I got a little bit luckier just because of the selection of play on that game. But, Houston's been not great the last 3 days, and we'll see what they do here with Valdez on the mound as a big favorite tonight. Prez, real quick, you talked about the NBA, the back-to-back years. Real quick, I just want to say that since I came on board here to Wager Talk / Sports Memos, where I it began this, it's been 1,000. Last night was the 1,000th in 3 years NBA play that I made. The two landed it on 1,000. 560 and 440. So 3 years, 56%.
Wow.
For those who think that 56% doesn't sound like a lot, because in general it doesn't sound like a lot, the return on investment to that is plus 265 point something percent. So it's a big deal to hit 56%. And happy the NBA's gone my way for 3 years here with you guys.
Rob Veno, Rob, we actually, Teddy and I spoke about this, I don't know, 5-6 months ago. I did some modeling at how much money you could make at 53%, 54, 55. And I mean, we worked out, you start with $2,000 and you hit 55%, over 1,000 plays a year, adjust 4% of your bankroll adjusted every week. I mean, 5 years later, you're well into the 90 million range. So,
hard to get down.
56. What, Teddy?
It's hard to get down $90 million bets. When you have a $90 million bankroll, you
yes,
can't get down.
It is, but that's not the point. The point is that 56% is going to make you a killing. And when it gets too big to get those bet sizes down, you're a multi-millionaire. It's time to stop.
It's a good problem to have. Yes.
Yeah.
Rich people problem. Exactly. Good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Rob, let's get into it, man. You got a couple of NBA player props for us. First one. Well, I'm just gonna hand you the mic, dude. You can do both at the same time, one at a time, whatever you want.
You want to ask him about his MLB off the bat?
Which
I didn't
way you
even
want to
see.
go,
When did you put an MLB play in here?
Plays today. MLB, San Fran at Arizona, first 5.
There you go.
Right there.
I missed it. It's allowed. San Fran over Arizona. And it's funny because I was speaking to Teddy last night and I said I was tossing and turning between 2 baseball plays. And one of them, Teddy, as you know, on your text was San Fran. But I left it out. It will show up in the penalty box segment. What are you doing, Rob?
Well, I'm going to play the first 5 under the total of 5 here for a few reasons. I mean, Teddy talked about current form in Major League Baseball, and I couldn't agree more. Baseball, of all the sports, is the most fluid, changing from day to day. Who's in the lineup? Who's out of the lineup? Is the pitcher's arm sore? Blah, blah, blah. Is the bullpen overworked? So it's constantly changing. And in this case, we have 2 lineups that are both slumping right now at this point in time. Short-term slump, of course, last 5 games or so. A lot of it due to injuries. Start with the Giants real quick here. They've been without, the last couple of days at least, what has been the middle of their lineup for a lot of this season. Brandon Belt out of the lineup. He remains out at this time. Evan Longoria out of the lineup. He's been out and remains out. Mike Yastrzemski out the last couple of days after fouling a ball off of his shin. And his backup, Mike Tauchman, comes in and he gets hurt. So they were without 2 right fielders at some point. It looks like Yastrzemski might come back tonight, but injuries for the Giants have led to scoring 2 runs or less in 4 of their last 5 games. I know you could argue back and say, Rob, some of that was Dodger pitching. I give you that. It was Buehler. It was Bauer. Prior to that, against the A's, it was Cole Irvin, mediocre lefty, Sean Manaea. And they only got 2 hits and 2 runs off Frankie Montas in the 3rd game of that series. So the Giants have had trouble right off the bat in these games hitting the baseball. For Arizona, without Ketel Marte, they're just a different offense. Ketel Marte comes back for a little bit, hits 340 plus. Now he's gone, and they score 7 runs, in 3 games in St. Louis. This team is 30th, dead last in MLB in OPS versus right-handed pitching. Tonight you get Johnny Cueto on the mound. They've also been without Carson Kelly. Makes a difference here. Both teams just right now not good offensively. Let's get to one key stat that pushes me to this play, guys. Merrill Kelly, the starter for the Arizona Diamondbacks tonight, his last 13 starts, if I'm using 5 innings, his first 5 innings pitched in those 13 games, and I'm using 5 as the total, he's 9-2-2 to the under. So those are pretty strong numbers. 9 out of 13 games, the first 5 have gone under with Merrill Kelly. 2 of those pushed. So 11 out of 13, you get a either decent or very good result. The Giants' home run laden offense, you check them out. They're second in MLB in home runs, 116. But this guy's a ground ball pitcher. He's better than 2-to-1 ground ball to fly ball rate. So keeping the ball on the ground is going to help him here. I think this game stays under, guys, first 5 innings. I don't want to go deeper into the game because there's no way I'm getting involved with an Arizona bullpen. So give me first 5, under 5. There's a vig here. I think you have to lay 20 cents, but I'll do it.
So I know that first 5 innings have become very popular. Like Dave Koken's playing a lot of first 5 innings.
Yeah.
I've seen Ralph Michaels play more first 5 innings. I've been doing more first 5 innings this year. Rob, how big a percent of plays are you making first 5 versus full games? Is that a big part of your portfolio on a nightly basis? Or is it the exception rather than the rule with the 5-inning lines?
This year, Teddy, it's grown by leaps and bounds. I'm in that group that's playing. Certainly, the majority of my plays have been first 5, meaning better than 50%. I can't give an exact amount, but I would say 2 out of every 3 have gone to the first 5 innings. Again, the reasoning is simple. Everybody said it. I'm no brain surgeon, Sir Isaac Newton or whoever. You want to eliminate these bullpens from the game. And you know what you're going to get out of starting pitching in most instances, so you play first 5. That's what we're doing here, first 5 under the total of 5.
I mean, Rob, I'm faced with the decision of whether to play first 5 or full game, and I don't know what type of criteria you use. For me, I normally play on good teams, especially good hitting teams like the Jays. I've been playing late. Houston before they played Baltimore, the White Sox, etc. If I am playing a team with better bats than the other team, I'm just going to let this thing ride. I haven't played one game at first 5. Even last night I was looking at it. I was like, do I take the Jays in the first 5? And I'm like, man, their bats are so much better than Seattle. I want those 4 innings. Do you have any criteria you're using, or is it just stay away from bullpens?
It depends on the bullpen.
A lot of it's becoming.
Yeah, well, there
price,
you go.
Fred.
So elaborate.
Yeah, a lot of it's becoming price because, for example, what you're talking about last night, a team like the Blue Jays, a team like the Astros, these good offensive teams, you're going to find that laying a half a run, I play a lot of run line. If you lay half a run, first 5, all of a sudden we're seeing odds makers make these adjustments to where first 5 you have to lay $1.65. But if you bet the same team full game, you're going to take back a nickel plus 105 for full game. So with 70-cent gaps, like you're saying, with a good offensive team, you take your chances. I'm with you in that regard. Price is becoming a real thing to consider when playing these first 5s because odds makers throughout this season, I'm seeing bigger and bigger gaps every single day between what the first 5 run line price is and what the 9-inning run line price is. Obviously, you only get 8 at-bats if you're talking about a home team, but the point is odds makers are adjusting, which makes us adjust our decision-making.
Rob Veno, everyone joining us on Wager Talk today. Normally a Friday spot for Rob, but we got him in today. Rob, you got 2 NBA props going tonight. Can you give both at the same time, please? And then we'll go to Teddy.
Yeah, let's go quick here. Kevin Huerter over 13.5 points tonight, guys. It's a guy that I cashed a ticket with last game. Over 12.5 points was the number. Got there fairly easily, 15 points. And he only shot 1 of 7 from 3-point range in that game. So I look for a little bit of a bounce back from Herter as far as 3-point shooting is concerned in this game. One of the main reasons, guys, is if you're going to play overs in these points, at least props, you have to have the volume. Kevin Herter has taken the second most shots of any Atlanta Hawk in this playoff series, 48 shots. The only guy who's taken more, Trae Young. So I know the volume is going to be there. 25 of those shots have been threes. Like I say, I think he'll shoot a little bit better from 3-point land than 1 of 7 in this game. And he actually scored 15 points on 1 of 7 shooting from 3. He gets a little bit of a more favorable matchup here with Giannis out of the lineup. You know, when Giannis is in, he sees P.J. Tucker almost exclusively when he's on the floor. And when he doesn't see P.J. Tucker, he'll probably see Giannis or Bobby Portis. Instead, he gets a lot of Pat Connaughton now with Giannis out of the lineup. So I think that gives him a little favorable matchup there as far as scoring points is concerned. You know, for the Milwaukee defense, the fact that Bogdanovich hit 8 threes last game, my feeling is the focus is going to be on stopping Bogdanovich. Kevin Herter kind of just wanders around as this, you know, so-so player. Let's not guard him. I think he'll get his shots. I think he'll get his open shots. If this game has flow to it, which I think it might, then we get over 13.5. Real quick to the second prop here, guys. It's Chris Middleton to post a double-double at plus $1. And listen, the 10 points is the easy part of this bet, right? If Chris Middleton doesn't get 10, then I'll lose. I'll take that. It's the rebounds and the assists that you want to make sure he could get either 1 to 10 and you win the bet. Rebound-wise, Chris Middleton, real quick, he's had 8, 11, and 7 rebounds in his last 3 games. He's going to be asked to do a little bit more of the rebounding with Giannis out of there. So I think 10 is very, very achievable for him since the 2 games that he was under. He had 7 and 8. That void left by Giannis, I think, actually helps his assist rate too. You know, Drew Holiday is going to be expected to score a little bit more now without Giannis, which takes the ball out of his hands somewhat as far as being an assist guy goes. That helps Middleton. So potentially you could get 10 assists here. It's really a domino effect why I play this, guys. Middleton, even though they played great defense against him last game, he still put up decent numbers and almost had a double-double. With poor shooting and everything else. I think that changes tonight at home. I couldn't believe the price was plus $1 here. I'll take my chances. Chris Middleton, double-double plus $1.
So I'm going to break down my take. I'm going to give my take on the Bucks Hawks tonight, a big game breakdown, just a little bit later in the show. So we'll save that for now. Rob, I do want to ask you what you have going tonight over at WagerTalk.com. I know, like Prez was talking about, you've been running real good in NBA for a real long time. You in action with a client play this evening. Got anything in other sports to talk about?
Yeah, like most NBA days, Teddy, I'm sitting around and waiting for definitive injury news here, especially where Clint Capella, Trae Young are concerned. I did see, as we talked here, guys, a move towards Milwaukee across the screen universally. I think we see a bunch of threes now on the Bucks. I have to investigate why that happened. But there will be an NBA play up here for clients this evening. Also, MLB in action. Catch me in about 60 minutes for the MLB. They're ready. I just got to load them up. So that's what you'll find on my homepage at WagerTalk.com.
Rob Veno, everyone. Rob, thanks for joining us, man. Guys, stay with us. Great show so far. Lots still to go. Teddy's big game breakdown. Andy Lang, Carmine Bianco in the penalty box segment. We'll be right back in literally 15 seconds.
Want to build your bankroll for football season? We have you covered. Most sports shut down during the Olympics, but Major League Baseball will continue. With our summer baseball promotion, you get every MLB release from your favorite WagerTalk handicapper from the start of the Olympics through the first full college football Saturday on September 4th for only $1.99. MLB returns July 15th, and by signing up now, you can get up to 8 days free, dropping the daily price to just under $4 per day. This is the lowest price we have ever offered on baseball, so lock in your handicapper before the cost goes back to regular price.
It's time for today's big game breakdown. Let's talk about the Hawks and the Bucks. Game 5 from Milwaukee this evening. Right now, looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen, I'm seeing the Bucks 3. There's even a couple of prominent 3.5s that have just popped up. And of course, total sitting in the 215 range. Not much variance on that total. There are a couple of 214.5s out there right now. From a side standpoint, I'm in action on the total for this game. If you want, you can get that play right now over at WagerTalk or sportsmemo.com. From a side standpoint, my rule of thumb when it comes to game 5 and 6 in particular, but really game 5, 6, 7, home court isn't worth squat in games 5 and 6 after round 1. And this year's results will show that very, very clearly again. All right. Round 1's different because game 5, you see a lot of the eliminations of the underdogs that won one game and they make it a series and then they get swept out 4-1. So when you look at just the game 5, game 6, game 7 results, the first round series don't truly show what I'm talking about. When it comes to the conference semifinals and the conference finals, and the NBA finals for that matter, by the time you get to game 5 and game 6, both teams have already played twice in their opponent's home floor. Look at what these home courts have been worth in these games. Let's see. We have the Suns and the Clippers. Home team in games 5, 6, and 7 in that series. 0-2 straight up, 0-2 against the spread. Hawks Sixers, games 5, 6, and 7. Home team in that series, 0-3 straight up and against the spread. The Clips and the Jazz, they split. Games 5 and 6, the home team winning versus the road team winning. The Nets and the Bucks, home team won only one of the last 3 in that. And, of course, the Suns swept the Nuggets in 5, 6, and 7. And the Hawks-Bucks is just starting 5, 6, and 7 right now. When you add it up, you're talking about home teams. Game 5, 6, and 7, when the home court advantage really matters. 2-8 straight up, 2-8 against the spread. Run with something else if you want. I don't want to. All right. And there's one additional factor that I like about Atlanta tonight. Again, I don't love the Hawks. It's not I love this play, but there's no home court edge at this time of year. And the Hawks just got 2 guys back, Cam Reddish and Chris Dunn. I understand they're not move the needle guys when it comes to a point spread, but having Reddish and Dunn back as rotation players, that makes them better. Okay, that makes them deeper. These are not limited players. These are good players. Is it worth a half point, a point and a half, 2 points? It's worth something. I don't see it factored into this point spread. Hawks are pass for this better in game 5. And there's your big game breakdown. Back to you, El Presidente.
Teddy, you know what? I love the take on the home court advantage or lack of advantage in those games, and add that to the fact that we're seeing Reggie Miller incarnate in Trae Young. He's got that ability to just rise on the other team's floor. He's one of those guys that he just loves to piss off the other team's crowd, and it makes for great TV. And he definitely gets up when on the away court.
Of course, Trae Young not likely to play tonight for Atlanta.
Well, I'm going with Trae Young likely to play, and Giannis. They'll find their way in. Andy, you want to laugh?
Right?
Bring it on. Yes, I'm kidding, Teddy.
Yeah. So please, our goal of this show is to give out accurate information. It does not look like Trae Young is going to play. The point spread is telling us that Trae Young is not likely to play. Trae Young didn't play last game. Trae Young is effed up a little bit and may not,
the injuries.
We love Trae Young in hostile environments. We don't expect Trae Young to play tonight.
Okay, can we get on with Andy Lang? Andy, every time. What is up with you, Andy? You bring the worst out of Teddy.
It sounds like I bring the stats out of Teddy. Sounds like I bring the info out of Teddy. I'm from Indianapolis. How dare you compare Reggie Miller to Trae Young? Oh,
yeah, you're right. I'd like to apologize to Trae Young, everybody.
Reggie Miller would play tonight. Reggie Miller would play tonight. There's no little toenail issue or whatever he's got. So shout out to Rob Veno and noted brain surgeon Sir Isaac Newton. That that was a nice little nugget from Rob. I'm sorry. By the way, you guys mentioned something. I've been watching. Somebody mentioned the Houston Astros. When could we have learned that they were getting ready to go off their hot streak? I actually researched this and I found it. I found when we got a very clear, concise clue that this was going to go south for Houston. So when teams are on hot streaks, if we look for a disruption that can take them out of their routine, go back to Friday. They had a dream matchup. That game got rained out and their schedule got completely changed to a doubleheader on Saturday, 2 7-inning games. They lost both of them. I think that was the sign. You look back at that, they were set up for a huge weekend against a bad team, and their streak and schedule got completely disrupted. And to me, that was the clear, concise sign that something was going to change with them. Their sleeping routines, their playing routines, their rotations, just everything kind of changed for them. And when you got a team that's on streak, a disruption like that could be a way to say, hey, this might be a good time to lay off. So I don't know. I take that for what it is. That was something that I found last night.
Are the Tigers a bad team? Because, I mean, they played like 580 baseball over the last 50 games. Tigers might be the single most undervalued team in baseball right now.
Well, when I say Friday, they had a dream pitching matchup. Their pitching matchup was fantastic, and it got changed. Tigers aren't terrible, but Houston at the time was probably licking their chops, and then just disruption. So I'm not saying I'm 100% correct on that, but if we're looking at a way to say, hey, maybe this might be the end of the streak when something gets disrupted. I don't know.
Andy, I want to publicly apologize. I know you might not be used to Teddy correcting you all the time. I am. It goes on all day, all night. Yesterday, Dave Koken,
that's fine.
Dude, yesterday, Dave Koken comes on the show and says runs line. He says it all the time. Teddy lets it go. Then I, in order to make fun of Dave, say runs line. And Teddy's like, stop the show. Prez, it's not runs line. It's run line. Yeah. Okay. Speaking of run line, Andy, Blue Jays, this game goes off in half an hour. I was on them last night at -1.5. They almost made my play again today at -1.5. They didn't, which means Blue Jays -1.5 is a freaking good play. Where are you going in this game?
Okay, well, whenever I come on, I try and make a play that rewards our live audience. So this play goes off in a half hour, so you can still get down on this one. So let me make the case for it. So for Toronto, 24 of their last 26 wins have been by the runs line. So when they win, they win by 2 or more runs. That's a big stat. And Rio is starting for Toronto. Seattle is the second worst batting average, 218. And the third worst OPS against lefties, 662. Conversely, Toronto is sixth in batting average, 262, and fifth in OPS, 766 against lefties. Kikuchi going for Seattle today. So two games ago, Toronto, they just pounded Seattle, who was starting a lefty. Prez, last night, Seattle started a right-handed pitcher. So the big storyline for me today is both teams are starting lefties, and you're getting a premier hitting team against lefties going against one of the worst hitting teams against lefties. Teddy, here's a sneaky stat for you. Seattle, 26th worst daytime OPS at 653. Toronto Blue Jays, number 1 in Major League Baseball, daytime OPS, 872 in OPS. So we're getting a great matchup against lefties, and we're getting a big-time advantage in OPS in daytime games. I'll take the Blue Jays in the run line.
So here's my question for you on this one. And it's real simple. People have been quoting, I've been getting stats, anti-Mariner stats, basically, from day one this year? Their stats aren't very good. And yet, when it comes to profitability and making money for their backers, the fact that they're so bad statistically has resulted in them making a fortune. They're number 2 in MLB in profitability right now, behind only the Giants. The Does that concern you here at all? Because the statistical profile has misled people about Seattle all year, making people think they're worse than they actually are. A team that's still 3 games over 500, and the quotes coming out of that locker room, nothing but positive.
I think it depends which stats we're looking at. There's a big one-run game. Their stats are a little bit out of whack with one-run games. Those are going to regress to the mean you would think over the course of a season. And I know we mentioned earlier that with baseball, a lot of times we're looking at 12-game sample size or a 10-game sample size. I think batting average and OPS against left-handed pitchers is a big deal over the course of a season. And we're getting very, very clear, concise numbers about full season on Toronto being great against lefties and Seattle being bad against lefties. So a game last night, maybe that right-handed starting pitcher was maybe a sign to us that maybe this is one to lay off, because Seattle just cannot hit lefties. And we talked about Seattle being a very profitable team. I would want to evaluate that a little bit more. How profitable have they been against left-handed starters?
I got the Mariners. Mariners 15-12 against lefties compared to Toronto 8-11 against lefties. So Seattle's been much better. And of course, I don't have average lay prices, but I got to think the Mariners be extraordinarily profitable at 15-12. They've been dogs in those games, and Toronto would probably have been favorites or pick them in those games. So I think it's a big dichotomy between what Seattle and Toronto have accomplished against lefties this year. Seattle being the far better of the two teams.
Could be. I'm looking at these numbers. I like the matchup today. I love the daytime stats. I'm going to go with it. I've already played it with my own money. I'm in on this one.
Andy Lang, everybody. And Andy, let's get to your NBA props for tonight. I'll just hand the mic over to you as we are running short on time.
Drew Holiday under 39.5 points, rebounds, and assists. This number is shockingly high to me. He had the big game 1 with 33 points, 10 assists, and 4 rebounds. Since then, he's had a total of 31 PRA, 22 PRA. Last game when Giannis went out, only 19 points, 9 assists, 5 rebounds. Holiday's starting to get cold from 3-pointers, 2 of 10 last 2 games. He does not have more than 5 rebounds in any of the games in this series, and that's a real big number when you've got a number at 39.5. You got to get some rebounds. And Giannis is out, but I don't see Holiday getting down low a whole lot. That's going to be Portis. That's going to be Lopez. That's going to be Middleton. And I think his assists possibly come down. Listen, when you got a healthy Giannis cutting to the basket, that could give you a couple really good, easy assists. I also think the defense for Atlanta doesn't have to crash inside as much. Maybe the perimeter is a little bit tougher for Holiday, and he's just not this big-time shot creator like Devin Booker or Trae Young. And also this number being so high, 39.5. Devin Booker's total points, rebounds, and assists last night was only 37.5. So I would just off the top of my head, I would think Booker's would be higher, and Booker comes in below that points, rebounds, and assists. I feel like the books have put this number a little bit out of reach. I'll take him under. And then we talked about Clint Capella. The eye injury, keep an eye on this. Report came out. He's going to be evaluated at 5:00 Eastern time today. That will be when his availability will be determined. The books still have his points, rebounds, and assists up at 23.5. If you take his under, if he's ruled out, you get a refund. If he plays, he may have some potential vision issues, and he's gone under this total in 3 straight games. So I think you get a little bit protection if he doesn't play compared to if he plays. I might look at Clint Capella around 5:00.
Outstanding, dude. Awesome stuff. Andy Lang, everyone. You can find him at WagerTalk.com. Come on, this guy knows his stuff. Please, everybody, hit that like button for us. And Andy, what do you have to promote?
5% MLB play tonight, and got a big weekend. Got a Formula One race, got NASCAR race, a lot of MLB and NBA playoffs going on, but 5% MLB play that goes off tonight. And Teddy, it is not the Blue Jays. That's not my 5% play. So
Get
don't
out
worry
of here,
about that.
Andy. Get out of here.
Thanks, guys.
Out, as Sergeant Schultz would say. Remember that show, Teddy?
Yes.
Yeah, we are old. We are 2 old freaking men. That's for sure. Carmine Bianco joining us any second now to talk some soccer. Teddy, we got to get these people to hit that like button for us. Come on, guys. So many of you in. Hey, Abid, Big Daddy, Irish, John J. Peach, Brandon, Alfonso. I love the name Alfonso. That's a solid freaking name. Teddy, not so much. But yeah, what?
What am I going to do?
Name? I hate my name, dude.
I'm comfortable with it.
Dude, I'd say to my parents all the time, I'm like, yeah, look, I get it. If you have 700 boys, at one point you might use the name Lawrence, but I am your firstborn of 3 in the entire world. Of all names, Lawrence was your favorite. What the hell is wrong with you, Mom and Dad? How could Lawrence be the most amazing boy's name of all time? How? It's terrible.
What's their answer?
They liked it. And then my brother gets the name Anton, which is rock solid of a name. You get to go as Ant. I love the name Anton. Freaking Lawrence. Anyway,
I just
Carmine
realized
Bianco.
how interested I would be in actually meeting your parents, like where you
love
came
my
from.
Dad.
I think I'd be fascinated.
Yeah, you'd love my dad. My dad is like 10 times the personality that I am. Carmine Bianco, get your ass in here, bro. You've met my parents.
They're fantastic people, which is a surprise that they birthed a child like you. No, I'm just kidding. But how's it going, boys?
It's going good, but we are pushed for time, and that is Teddy and my fault.
Course.
Hey. It's not like you haven't been on almost every day for 2 bloody weeks.
No, listen, I took the time that I was waiting here to try and get 90 million down on Brazil tomorrow. They wouldn't take it.
Okay, well, there you go. Carm, let's get straight to it. Czech Republic versus Denmark. Not a crazy surprise Denmark is here, but Czech Republic, huge win against the Netherlands. We got a situation. Denmark, small dog, plus 110. Czech, plus 280. Draw at 220. How are we handicapping this game?
Yeah, I've talked about it before that you look for teams that build throughout a tournament. Portugal did that in winning the Euros. 3 draws in the group stages, got in, and eventually won the Euros. Denmark's route has been a little peculiar, obviously, with what happened in the first game with Christian Eriksen collapsing on the field. But their analytical numbers in all 4 games, which includes the loss to Belgium, they've been the better team. They've had the better numbers. This is a team now that is picking up steam and picking up momentum, and they truly believe that they can go far in this tournament. Listen, I have people sitting on big futures in this game from 50 to 1 and up. I'll have to post something because we're short on time and I'm not going to talk about it here. So I'll post it on Twitter. But my clients have all been given hedge numbers on this. As far as Czech Republic, they got a little lucky in that last game. They had a good group stage, but they're the benefactors of that red card to Matthijs de Ligt, where he was the last defender, fell over, handled the ball. It's an automatic red. It is a rule. Before that, the prior 54 minutes, they really weren't in the game. This is a bad matchup for them. The number is where it should be. I'm actually surprised it's not 20 cents the other way where Denmark is about minus 110, minus 115. This one, Denmark here, I don't think they're going to allow a goal. I think your 2 best options here are taking obviously Denmark to win, but you can take Denmark win to 0, and that is plus 220 odds. It's a nice price there. This is going to fall into one of those categories of Denmark 1-0, Denmark 2-0, and those are plus 550 and plus 800, I believe. So that's the route I'm taking here with this game.
Game 2, Ukraine versus England. England minus 250, significant favorites here. The draw plus 250, Ukraine plus 750. The betting markets do not expect Ukraine to survive and advance this matchup. This is an unexpected quarterfinal matchup. Maybe not so much from England, who beat Germany as a very short favorite, but seeing Ukraine here, obviously, somewhat surprising. Although, I got to give you credit, Carm. You came on WagerTalk Today on Monday and gave out Ukraine against Sweden as a free play, which, by the way, makes it 8-2 with your free Euro plays. This match in Italy at Rome Stadio Olimpico, which is England's first match away from Wembley this entire tournament. Where are we going with this?
Yeah, thank you for mentioning the Ukraine one and the 8-2 record, Teddy. I will buy you a drink at Barry's Prime when we're meeting for steaks next Wednesday when I'm in Vegas. So I'm looking forward to that. But listen, England's manager Southgate he's got his critics. They don't like the style. They don't like the lineups he put out. They don't like the style that they played. It's sort of that 80s Italian Azzurri side. Score a goal, not give up much, and win 1-0 games. But at the end of the day, wins are wins. You get there. And this is where they are right now. And they are favorites in this game. The only thing about that last game against Germany is, and I had England in that game, is I was literally tweeting out throughout the game. I'm like, you got to get Jack Grealish in there. You got to get Jack Grealish in, because he is a player that you can put in a 5-man midfield. He's a player that you can put up front, maybe replacing Saka, who holds onto the ball. They weren't holding onto the ball against Germany, and that was the one thing. It looked like that game was going to go to extra time. The minute Grealish got in there, he changed the makeup of the game, and within 10 minutes, England were on top. 5 minutes later, they're up 2-0, and they're on their way to this matchup. As good as a matchup I thought Ukraine was for Sweden, and they could beat them, it's the reverse here. This is a bad matchup for them. They're not going to get much in this game. They're going to have trouble with England's midfield. England's going to have much of the possession here. This is one of those games where a team surprises in one round and then goes out with a whimper in the next, and that's where Ukraine goes here. And it's similar to that last one. I don't think they score here. I think the right result here, because England's favored by about a goal and a quarter, a goal and a half. I don't want to lay that because England would be perfectly fine winning 1-0. So let's go with England to win to 0 again, and you're getting plus money, plus 105 on that. You can actually take both Denmark win to 0 and England win to 0 on Saturday and parlay them, and you're going to get 5.5 times your money. So that's not a bad proposition as well too. But play them singly. If one of them hits, you're not losing any money. England to win to 0 on Saturday.
Awesome stuff, Carm. What do you got to promote?
Nothing today. I've taken the day off. I'm heading down to my shirt supplier, and I did give out to one of my clients who actually is from Toronto, so I'm bringing it down, an autographed Cristiano Ronaldo framed jersey. He was one of the winners of the draw. I'm going to do another draw for Manchester United autographed Ronaldo jersey just before the final, and we'll see who wins that one, but I'm going to drop that off for him to pick up downtown. And on the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I've got cards up, including a 5% Euro play, Copa America plays. There's a ton of action up, and CB 50 if you want to get a 7-day all access package, $50 off that. You'll get it for $69. And you get all my plays: tennis, hockey, 2-0 so far in the Stanley Cup.
I thought you were coming swimming this afternoon.
Well, maybe on my way back up.
Let me know. Carmine Bianco, everyone. Joe, baby, we're running out of time. Throw me in that box and let's get the show done. Hey, everybody. A great show on WagerTalk today. Rob, Veno, Andy Lang, Carmine Bianco. We spoke about, in-depth player props in the NBA, some baseball, and, of course, Carm, 8-2 in his soccer picks on WagerTalk today. Gave out 2 more. Make sure to always check us out, 12 to 1 Eastern time on our YouTube channel, WagerTalk TV. Teddy and I, awesome show, lots of laughs, great information. Anyway, real quick, I'm on a 5-1 run in the penalty box segment over the last 2 days, and I got 3 plays for you guys today. First, we're going to take San Francisco tonight in the baseball game. Then we're going to take the Chicago White Sox. I'm mad at myself. I didn't release them yesterday, especially given that Teddy and I spend a lot of time talking about what team's going to go on a run, and I said the White Sox were a bet-on team. I messed up yesterday, but we're coming back with them today. And the under in the NBA game tonight. And get that down sooner than later, please. Teddy, that's it for me. Short, sweet penalty box segment. Take us home, bro. Teddy is muted.
I'm not muted anymore.
Unmute.
Unmuted. All right. That's going to wrap it for the Thursday edition of Wager Talk Today. Thank you so much for taking time. And if you're ready to hang out with us, we'll do it again tomorrow. Same time, same channel, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon on the East Coast. Between now and then, 2 things. 1, enjoy the games. 2, good luck. And 3, please give us a like, give us a follow. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Cheers.
Hey guys, it's Joe of WagerTalk.com. Are you guys going to come over to WagerTalk on July 4th? Well, you really should. You're likely aware that we'll be offering every daily pick package for only $9 Friday to Monday. But did you also know on July 4th only, we will have a great special 7-day all access packages for just $76 for the week. That is less than $11 a day, you guys. So make sure on July 4th, you head over to WagerTalk.com and get this deal. 1 week of picks for just $76.